And we are back. Predictions. Week 4 of the preseason. The final week of the preseason. Quickly getting into week 3, we ended up going 7-9, putting our season total at 15-18. We'll quickly show all the games. If you want to see what those scores were, feel free to pause the video whenever you need to. And quickly, the games I did get right were the Bengals-Bears, the Vikings-Browns, the Seahawks-Titans, the Jets-Panthers, the Commanders-Dolphins, Cardinals-Colts, and the Rams-Chargers. Starting this segment, we have the Colts-Bengals August 22nd, that's tomorrow, at 8 p.m., where we have the Colts, who are 1-1, going to the Bengals, who are 0-2. The Colts winning 21-13 in their last game against the Cardinals, while the Bengals 27-3 loss against the Bears. The Bengals have not been really good at all. And I feel like that trend might continue. I'm going to be taking the Colts. It just feels logical. Next game we have only 20 minutes after. At 8:20, we have the Bears, who are 2-0, at the Chiefs, who are 1-1. We just talked about the Bears, 27-3 win. They have been dominant this preseason. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they had yet again another loss. I know I just said 1-1. They're actually 0-2, as they lost by 1 point, 24-23 to the Lions. And with that being said, I don't see the Bears stopping anytime soon. Give me the Bears. Next, we move to August 23rd at 7 p.m. All of these games are in Eastern Time. By the way, we have the Jaguars and the Falcons. The Jaguars are 2-0. The Falcons, opposite, they're 0-2. Where the Jaguars, they came off a, once again, impressive game. I don't quite remember the score. I'm looking for that now. 20-7 against the Buccaneers. And the Falcons, I believe they lost in a pretty low-scoring game. I need to find them as well. 13-12, yeah, against the Ravens. So, I'm personally going to take the Jaguars. I mean, they've done so much better than, some of the other teams. And with that being said, give me the Jaguars. Moving down to 7:30 p.m., we have the 2-0 Dolphins versus the 1-1 Buccaneers. Buccaneers we just talked about, as they ended up losing to the Jaguars 20-7. While the Dolphins won 13-6 against the Washington Commanders. I'm going to take the Buccaneers here. I think this is going to be one of the best preseason games in general of this entire preseason, not just this week, in this entire preseason. I do think it will be a close game. I do think it will be a relatively high-scoring game. I'm not talking about 40-plus points. I'm talking high 20s, low 30s. But give me the Buccaneers. Next at 10 p.m., we have the 49ers, who are 1-1, and the Raiders, who are 0-2. The 49ers, they won 16-10 against the Saints, while the Raiders 27-12 lost to the Cowboys. I ultimately think this game will be another interesting one. We have two teams who are very close, just like the Jaguars, Buccaneers, geography-wise. I mean, they're only a state over. And I feel like both these teams kind of have something to prove, because the 49ers have not been impressive this preseason, and the Raiders, even though they said Gardner Minshew's the starting quarterback, I mean, I wouldn't say that's final. I mean, if Aiden O'Connell does his thing this final preseason game and Gardner Minshew sucked, I mean, we could be talking about a whole different story here. With that being said, however, give me the 49ers. I don't think the Raiders really stand any chance. Moving on to the Saturday 1 o'clock games. There's a lot of them, so bear with me here. Starting out, we have the Vikings and Eagles. Both these teams undefeated. The Vikings, they come off of a 27-12 win over the Browns, while the Eagles come off a 14-13 win over the Patriots. They were the first game last week. I think this should be a very fun game because these two teams have somewhat history. Obviously, it's not a lot. But, I mean, that was where the championship game happened, where the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And ultimately, these two teams have just been some of the better teams in the NFC these past, few years. And both have been very inconsistent at that. They're either really good or really bad. I'm going to take the Vikings because looking at their preseason, they have been one dominant team. Let me tell you, they have been amazing. Moving down now to the Ravens and Packers. Both these teams sitting at a comfortable 1-1. With the Ravens actually getting a 1-point win. Can't remember the score. It's right there. 13-12 over the Falcons. The Packers, on the other hand, 27-2 loss. I mean, it's pretty cool to see that a final score result in 2 points, but there was nothing that was positive. As a Packers fan, I watched that game. Nothing positive happened. But I do have faith that they'll bounce back. I'm going to take the Packers. Call me stupid. I probably am. Next, we have the 0-2 Steelers at the 1-1 Lions. The Steelers, they have just sucked. They lost 9-3 in their preseason game last week to the Bills. Meanwhile, the Lions, they ended up winning 24-23 against the Chiefs. Only 1 point, but that's sometimes all you need. And with that being said, give me the Lions. I'm sorry, Steelers. I'm sure you will do something, but I just don't see it. Next game on the list is the Rams-Texans. This is a cool game because they're both 2-0. The Rams, they ended up winning in another close game, 13-9. They have really struggled in their preseason, but they've ended up winning, which tells a lot. Meanwhile, the Texans, they have done, in my opinion, one of the best jobs. 28-10 win over the Giants, who I think are one of the better preseason teams. Amazing. I mean, with that being said, I'm going to take the can't think of their name, the Texans. And it may suck, Rams fan, but I don't think this game's going to be particularly close. Moving down to our final 1 o'clock game. Told you there was a lot of them. We have the Panthers and the Bills. The Panthers 0-2. The Bills 1-1. We just talked about the Bills with their 9-3 win. I think they have not scored a touchdown yet. I could be wrong, but I genuinely don't think they've scored a touchdown yet. Meanwhile, the Panthers 15-12 loss over the Jets. I think the Panthers are going to get this win simply because even though the Bills are probably going to be the favorites due to winning, I don't know. The Bills have scored 15 points this preseason, and all of them being field goals. So, give me the Bills. Or, excuse me, give me the Panthers. I also don't know if the Panthers have scored a touchdown. I know they've really sucked. I mean, they've also scored 15 points conveniently. Next, we have the Chargers and the Cowboys at 4 p.m. Chargers 0-2, 13-9 loss against the Rams, while the Cowboys 1-1, getting a 27-12 win over the Raiders. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I'm sorry, Chargers. You guys just have not looked good this preseason. I will die on this hill that Easton Stick might be the worst backup quarterback in the league. I do not think he is good. I will make that known. Give me the Cowboys. Giants-Jets, 7:30 p.m. now. Battle in New York, the 1-1 Giants, 2-0 Jets. We talked about the Giants and the Jets. 28-10 for the Giants. They lost. Jets, 15-12. They won. Give me the Giants, though, because the Giants had a really impressive week 1. And I don't feel like that's going to kind of deteriorate them. I think they're going to bounce back. I don't know if I used the right word there. I'm going to think the Giants are going to bounce back to that week 1 status. I feel like the Jets have really had very close games. I think that's going to be the same. However, this one going to be in the Giants' favor. 10 p.m. now, we have the Browns and the Seahawks. Browns 0-2. Seahawks 1-1. As the Browns, they lost. I don't remember the score, but it was bad. It was 27-12 against the Vikings. And the Seahawks, don't remember their score either, gonna be honest. But they lost, I did find it, 16-15 to the Titans. It makes sense to pick the Seahawks because the Titans have had one of the better preseasons. The Seahawks had a pretty good week 1 and then barely lost in week 2 to, like I said, a team who's had an amazing preseason so far. Meanwhile, the Browns, they're beating the Browns, that's for sure. They've not done really anything worth noting. Seahawks. All right, moving to our final day of preseason, the 25th. Starting out 2 p.m., we have the Titans, who we were just praising 2-0 as they beat the Seahawks by 1 point. And the Saints, 1-1. They fell 16-10 to the 49ers. They were the final game, that preseason. I wouldn't praise the Titans for no reason. I'm going to pick them. It makes no sense not to. They have, in my opinion, an amazing quarterback room. Will Levis, the mayonnaise man, I think will be one of the better starting quarterbacks when, he reaches his peak. With that being said, I by no means think he's going to be the best quarterback. I don't even think he'll really ever be in the conversation, but he'll be known as an above average quarterback. He'll probably be a Kirk Cousins quarterback, where everyone knows he's good. He gets underrated some years, overrated some other seasons. But, everyone can kind of agree that he's around middle of the pack to above average. And then I still love Malik Willis. I think he should get another chance. Cardinals-Broncos now, 4:30 p.m. Cardinals 0-2, Broncos 2-0. Cardinals have really struggled as they ended up losing their preseason game 21-13 to the Colts. While the Broncos 27-2 win over the Packers. The Broncos have scored the most points by far, I believe, in the preseason, averaging 30.5 points a game, putting them at 61 total points. I'm taking the Broncos. It makes no sense not to. Bo Nix has looked amazing. They might have an even better quarterback room because they have more depth. Jarrett Stidham, pretty good backup. Zach Wilson, can we write him off yet? I have no idea. That being said, give me the Broncos. And the last, they might be least, but you have probably 3 rookie quarterbacks playing. I mean, this was probably going to be one of the most entertaining games that we'll see, just simply due to 3 rookie quarterbacks. We have the Patriots who are 1-1, and the Commanders 0-2. Patriots, they got Drake May, Joe Milton. Joe Milton has looked phenomenal. Drake May, in my opinion, has looked underwhelming, but at the same time, it's preseason. You're a rookie. I don't think a 5th rounder is going to take your job personally, compared to the 3rd overall pick. And then the 2nd overall pick, Jaden Daniels. I don't know if he's going to play. I feel like he probably won't. He has been named a starter, though, which is cool. But I am going to take the Commanders. I just don't see the Commanders finishing this preseason 0-3. In my defense. So, with that being said, give me the Commanders. All right. With that being said, quick recap. We have the Colts, Bears, Jaguars, Buccaneers, 49ers, Vikings, Packers, Lions, Texans, Panthers, Cowboys, Giants, Seahawks, Titans, Broncos, Commanders, all winning their games. If I didn't say your name, unfortunately, it means they're going to lose. And as you may have saw, something I did do is I did not count the Hall of Fame game as a record. Obviously, the Texans did lose, so they're technically 2-1, while the Bears are technically 3-0. I counted that in the week 1, and I put it in the week 2 schedule. However, it's just not something I am going to record because it just doesn't feel right. It's the Hall of Fame game. So I feel like what kind of happened doesn't really matter, if that makes sense. So I didn't count those in, as you saw, the final 2. I also did forget, but now looking back at it, I'm going to justify it and say, I don't think it should have counted. I mean, it's going to be forever immortalized, both in this notebook I have anyway, and in the NFL stats, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to be fair and give every team kind of the same amount of games, and just say the Hall of Fame game was a one-time thing that shouldn't count. But I hope you guys did enjoy. I did. I will see you guys next time will be UCF Knights Dynasty. But with good news coming around, this is, like I said, the final preseason week. We will have a week of intermission, for teams to kind of cut their rosters down, get their starting lineup figured out, get, all the final training you can. Some with new roles as well. And then we'll have the regular season, which means power rankings will return. With, the 53-man rosters being figured out, we'll have, hopefully, as soon as possible, Madden coming out with the week 1 rosters, which means we'll be able to start our LA Rams franchise. Yes, I am confirming it is going to be the LA Rams. So, yes, my content is getting a bit stale at this point, with me really only doing UCF Knights and, well, once a week doing predictions, But in at most 2 weeks' time, we will be returning with, 2 other forms of videos. So that's good. But enough talking about me. I hope you enjoyed. I did. I'll see you guys next time with, Knights Dynasty, or potentially if you see the shorts form of this, than that technically. But goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.